let's not waste any time because the news just came down. The news of the day, the top story of the day, it would be breaking news if we were on the air. Wouldn't it happened? We missed it by about 20 minutes. Here's the top story of the day.
Burns and Gambo, the weigh-in.
Kyler's going to go on IR. Feel like that's the best thing for him and for us. He's not fully healthy, ready to go yet, so that makes the most sense. Obviously, that's a change. But we just felt, looking at it right now, that's the best thing for him and us, like I just said. He's fully committed. Right now, what he's going to concentrate on is getting healthy. He's not healthy enough to play. He needs to get healthy so he can get back to playing football.
Jonathan Gannon.
So that's what we're doing.
Jonathan Gannon, the head coach of the Cardinals, from about a half hour ago, making the announcement that Kyler Murray is headed to the IR list. It means he must miss 4 more games, Gambo, in addition to the 3 that he has already missed. So with that being said, the soonest he could potentially come back, all right, is week 14 against the LA Rams. He must sit out Seattle, San Francisco, Jacksonville, and Tampa Bay. The earliest he could return is week 14 against the LA Rams.
So there'd be 4 games left, 14, 15, 16, and 17, right? 4 games left at that time.
Correct.
Okay, so possible he can come back for those 4 games. Probably unlikely that he'll play unless Jacoby Brissett's not playing well or Jacoby Brissett gets injured and they want to go in a different direction. Lot of questions now too, right? I mean, how do you go from being, game time decision to being available to now you're on IR and you're out for a week?
Can I just correct you real quick? 5 more games left after his return.
5 after his return.
5 after his return. 2 against LA, Houston, Atlanta, and Cincinnati.
Thank you.
Potentially, I just want to make sure.
So potentially he could play the final 5 games of the season. There's very little that he would do even if he came back in those 5 games that would convince anybody that he should be the guy going forward. It's just, we knew this was. Well, let's start there. This was a big year for Kyler Murray. This was a big year for the Arizona Cardinals to continue to have him as their quarterback, for the fan base to continue to be behind him. He needed to really elevate his game this year. We all knew this was a huge year for Kyler. That's not going to happen. It's not going to be a big year for Kyler. He's not throwing, for he's not throwing for 3,000, 4,000 yards.
Nope.
He's not throwing 28 touchdown passes to 10 interceptions. He's barely going to play. Okay, he's barely going to play. There's nothing that he's able to do from this point forward, in my opinion, that would bring him to the point of what we talked about before the season started, of this is a big year for him. He really needs to produce well in order to earn the trust and be back next year. Would you agree?
I would 100% agree. And I'll to continue on that theme, I think the only thing that would have allowed Kyler and the argument for keeping him next year to exist would be that, if he had played well enough before this injury, okay, for you to go, man, he was really cruising, he was really rolling, it was all clicking, the lights came on, he figured it out, and then he suffers this injury and he's going to be out until there's 4 weeks left in the season, 5 weeks. Okay, then you think about it. Then you go, man, he was playing so well. Maybe we bring him back another year. Maybe we let this ride and see how it goes. He didn't. He got soft benched. That's the phrase everyone's kind of using now. They use it on McAfee this morning. I heard Luke use it today on Wolf and Luke. I mean, he got benched, but it's kind of a soft benching because he was hurt and that factored into the equation, all of that stuff. If he had been playing out of his mind, then we could have a conversation about whether you should bring him back even despite the injury. He wasn't playing out of his mind. Jacoby Brissett played better. It was obvious from the jump that Jacoby Brissett was playing better. And as you pointed out yesterday, not a small sample size of Jacoby Brissett playing better. 3 full games of, man, it's good.
It's a medium sample size. It's a medium sample size.
It's the last straw. I mean, it really is. It's like, that's it. Now it's about
injury guarantees.
It's about protection. Okay. To your point, it's about protection. It's about bubble wrap. It's about making sure Kyler doesn't do anything to diminish any value he might have in the offseason. And honestly, it's time for the capologist to get in the room and figure out what's our best option. What's the best way out of this? Is it pre-June 1? Is it post-June 1? Does somebody want to trade for him?
What is the exit strategy?
Exit
strategy.
You got to
come up with an exit strategy.
That is now on the table, my friend.
Yeah, the information I got on Kyler's contract, from his people when it was going down, I mentioned it yesterday, I'll say it again. There was $190 million in injury guaranteed by doing the deal that he did. $190 million in injury guarantee. I don't know where that is now because that information I had in December of 2022. So the message I got then was December of 2022. That was the injury guarantee. There's probably something left in that. I got to try to find out. I've already sent a message to see if I can find out. But I don't think you want to take the risk of playing him and him getting injured further because then that would prevent a trade. Now, you'd like to activate him. Okay, he's healthy. He's healthy. He's back. He's activated, but he's not playing because Jacoby's our guy. And then you could trade him, and you don't have to worry about any injury designation.
Okay, so here's a hypothetical that I'll bring up. Are you better off activating him and at some point playing him to show the rest of the league he's fine?
No, too risky.
Too risky?
I think it's too risky.
Even if it's like the last game of the season, just to, hey, he's fine. He's okay. Again, I understand what you're saying. If there's a re-injury, you're screwed. But do you get better value of him if you're trying to trade him
people
by
have 7
proving
years.
he's healthy?
Some team has 7 years of Kyler Murray film to look at. One game is not going to make a difference.
Okay, that's fair.
It's just not going to make a difference. You either like Kyler or you don't.
Not to sell you on whether you like him or not. To show everybody that he's healthy, that he's fine. Not to show what kind of quarterback he is, how good he is, how bad he is. To prove to everybody that he's fine and that he's healthy. And
I would think you go to Eric Burkhart, you get the medical records, you prove that he's healthy. You do your homework that way. I'm sure it's fair.
Thinking out loud.
Yeah, we're all thinking out loud. We just don't know.
Just because you would want to, before you buy the car, you want to test drive the car a little bit, right? And before you signed him or traded for him, I would imagine you'd have some opportunity to do exactly as you say, look at the medicals and see him on the field and things like that.
Yeah, my wife just says, I like that one.
She doesn't test drive. Well, Gambo, as we've already established, you live in a slightly different universe than 98% of the normal people out there.
I like the white Navigator.
So you and your little
test drive it?
You and your little 2% is fine. I'm telling you how it works for the rest of us 98%ers. Okay,
test drive it too.
I don't. That's where you live.
Yeah.
Have we seen the last of Kyler Murray in a Cardinals uniform?
Yes,
I tend to agree.
Yes.
Tend to think that
because I think that the risk of injury is too great to play him if you think you're going to trade him. Look, the first option is let me bring this to Bradley Beal. Okay, the first option is to trade him. Your first option is to trade him.
Oh, sure, of course.
You want to trade Bradley Beal. You want to trade Kyler Murray. You want to get something back. You want to alleviate the cap ramifications and all of that stuff. Like that's what you want to do. So your first option is to trade him. The main thing is you got to keep him healthy and make sure he doesn't get re-injured. So I don't think he plays again. Could be wrong, but my guess would be you don't take the risk of him going out there and getting hurt again.
Here's Gannon, more from the coach on when they reached the IR decision with Kyler Murray, because we asked him about the IR choice yesterday when he was on with us, and he said they were still determining that.
Kind of last night and this morning, talking with him, talking to some other people, obviously a collective decision there. He's, like I said, he's working, he wants to be out there, but he's not ready to go. So it's like, what we've kind of been doing, keeping him, his arm ready to go and trying to progress through the foot, and he's just not there. So that's kind of what we decided.
And then he was asked a question too about how this went from a situation where he was a game time decision, or at least a weekend of the game decision, to now he's on the IR and he's out for the next 4 weeks.
Not quite. It was game time for me. When I say game time, it wasn't working out before the game, but on Saturday to me is close to being game time. There's a lot of the reasons what we did. There's a lot of different scenarios out there of what can happen throughout the week and moving as you get closer to a game. This pivot, I would say, is completely predicated on the information that we have now and his health. And that's the most thing. He's, like I said, he's got to fully focus on getting healthy, and he's in a good spot and ready to do that.
So somewhere along the line, they got more information that suggested to them, hey, you need to back this off. Hey, you need to slow this down. You need to cool this off. Otherwise, he could get re-injured, and then you're in real trouble.
And that's what it could be. It could have been that decision, too. They could have been working through Jacoby's the guy. We can't get rid of Jacoby. We have to, Mitch said something about Peter Schrager on the field Monday Night Football. Everybody was just raving about Jacoby. And so, it may have been that, that they slow played it a little bit to make sure that, they had time to make the right decision for Jacoby, and then was okay. Let's put him on IR, and that's 4 weeks. We can kick this can down the curb another 4 weeks.
Sure, yeah.
Thanks for watching Burns and Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.